In this video, you will notice a corrective color. In the foil, you will see there's gold, there's brassy, there's brown, and there's a very light blonde. So I place it in a long foil so I can see all the different bands of color. Pay attention to the roots first with the brush flat, and I turn the brush sideways to blend the roots down into where there's some brown bands and some brassy bands. This is an excellent way to blend it all the way from the root to the ends. And if you notice, I did a slice on the first foil and a micro stitch on the second foil, and then I'm taking a thin section right now in between. The goal for this particular client is to have a very light, bright, soft baby blonde. I'm using a technique that's a slice back to back with a micro stitch from ear to ear going forward, and then I do baby lights all through the sides, which is also a micro stitch. And in the back of the hair, you're gonna see me do a TZ foilage. This is a commercial technique that I use in my salon day in and day out. And the most important thing I'm trying to accomplish here is taking all the hair that's many different, I call it a calico effect. It's many different colors with many different bands. We want to correct that. So everything that's inside my foil is getting lightened. And then outside the foil, I'm gonna go in with an 8M from Shadesy Q Cream Gloss and do a low light. Color fusion I am choosing is going to be a 6N and an 8NA. This way we have a natural effect on the roots mixed with a little cooler tone. I am doing highlights in the foil with Blonde Dimension 30 volume. Outside the foil, we will be touching her roots up with Color Fusion. And in between, after the roots are touched up, the pull through for the ends will be 8M from Shadesy Q Gloss Cream. So I'm gonna break it down from the crown of her head going forward to her face. I did a slice back to back with a baby light, a thin section in between, a slice back to back, and then a baby light, a thin section in between, and I just continue to repeat this pattern all the way to the hairline. When I get to the hairline, I do a very fine, thin, micro highlight so that when she pulls her hair back or up, it looks very soft and blended and is not left with stripes. I'm going to recap on the decisions that we made. One, I had to keep in mind the texture of her hair, her lifestyle, the preference. My job is to pay attention to the condition and the integrity of her hair and figuring out the best way to get from point A to point B. So the technique I'm using is called an inside out. Inside the foil is the highlights. Outside, I'm going to touch up her roots. One, to lighten them slightly, to cover gray, and to even out her hair throughout. Then I will go through and pull through a low light. After I get done with the low light, we process the whole thing according to the process time of the color that we used. Then I will be taking everything off, the highlight, the roots, and the low light all at once. And then I will be going into doing a Shadesy Q gloss, and it's going to be a 10VB. So that's what's going to create my baby blonde. Before I got started with this client, I explained the step-by-step process of what we're going to do, how much it's going to cost, and how long it will take. In order for our clients to love it, the key factor, what it is that they want and what are their needs. And then if we may not agree with that, then that's the time to have that conversation. And that's where they rely on our expertise. When something doesn't make sense, you have to explain the why and then give them their options that would create the end result that you and your client will both be happy with.